going on, Dolphins? It's your boy Dillon. Got a couple quick things to talk to you about, some injury information and stuff like that. And then I got press conferences for you. Adam Gase had one, and Ryan Tannehill also had one. And so with that, I'll transition into what I got to talk about, which is injury stuff mostly, which is some good news. Some roster moves and stuff as well. Alright, so Tannehill was at practice today, which is good. He seems to be moving around well. He said he feels fine. He said, you know, his ankle's sore and stuff like that, but he's good. And both him and Gase have said that, you know, barring some kind of like crazy something happening, he's playing on Sunday. So just as I figured, I mean, you know, it looked, you know, like it hurt like a motherfucker, that's for sure. Definitely didn't look like it felt good, especially having, you know, a huge 300-pound dude stepping on your ankle. But I didn't think it was going to be, especially since he was able to come back in and everything, I didn't really think it was going to be anything too terrible. So it looks like Tannehill's going to be fine. Xavier Howard did not practice, though, today. So, you know, we'll see. We'll see if he comes back, if he'll make it in for this game. We'll have to continue, you know, to monitor that as the week goes on. It's huge, though, that, you know, Tannehill's fine, so that's good. And then as far as the other person that we were hoping would come back, well, Jake Brendel has been placed on IR, as it turns out. Which now, if I'm not mistaken, is 12 people on injured reserve. So add another one to the list. Hopefully that's the last one for the season. I mean, Jesus Christ, we only have 3 games left in the regular season, and then of course at least 1 game in the playoffs that we're gonna play, right? So you know, I mean, although interestingly enough, you know, earlier in the year when Albert Wilson got hurt, there was a little talk about if we made it to the playoffs, he might be able to come back. I'm not sure if that's actually true or not, because as far as I know, that, you know, you can only bring 2 people back off of IR, and they brought Jake Brendel, ironically enough, and Mike Hull off of IR. Jake Brendel is now going back on IR. You know, so I don't know how that works. Although it's weird because I could be totally wrong and tripping on this, but for some reason I seem to recall from like a previous year that, you know, because there's that deadline, right? There's like certain deadlines and they have for whether or not you can bring players back, and it's halfway through the year, right? So like if the injury, you know, is you know, good by halfway through the year, you know, through 9 weeks of the season, you know, you can mark those players as eligible to return from IR if they were on IR prior to that, right? So but anyway, for some reason I feel like once you hit there's a new, not new, but like it opens up again. And I think for some reason, I don't know where I get this, but I feel like there's something or some rule that says you could bring back like 1 more dude from IR if you get to the, you know, the postseason or whatever. Which, if that is the case, would be great, because if we could bring back like Albert Wilson, that would be huge. Or somebody, you know. Anyway, but we did sign somebody actually to replace Jake Brendel, and it's man, I'm so not gonna say this dude's name right. Ranu Grasu. Oh my god, I'm gonna totally butcher this. He was ex-Bears, ex-Ravens. He was a center guard. I don't remember too much about him. I do remember the name when I saw it, when I first initially saw the reports about it. I do recall the name. and I seem to remember that he was pretty good. But I don't really know too much about him, so we'll have to see. But Gase talked highly of him. He said he's, ready to contribute if he needs to. Hronis Grasu, Hronis Grasu, Grosu. Like I said, anyway, he used to play for the Bears. He used to play for the Ravens. I seem to recall him being decent, but I don't really know enough to really talk about him intelligently. But so that's what happened today. Some injury news, some good injury news with Tannehill, some neutral news with Howard. We'll see how that plays out. It's a wait and see thing. And then negative news for Jake Brendel, but we signed Hronis Grasu to basically take his spot. So yeah, that's that, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and send you off to these interviews. I hope you guys enjoy those. I hope you guys enjoyed my show. If you do, make sure you hit the subscribe button, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you hit the bell if you want the alerts. Leave your questions, comments, and concerns down in the comments section. And also follow me on Twitter at Dillon Tartaro. You can hit me up there. You can leave me questions there. You can just hit me up, say what's up. You can check out my retweets or the tweets. I, send out articles that I read. I put out, Pro Football Focus stats and stuff like that, and Next Gen stats and all these different places. I like to try and get as much information out there as I can. I'm retweeting the shit out of, the Miami Miracle stuff. So definitely follow me on there. Also, of course, my videos post on there too, so you can find them there as well. So with that, guys, I'm out. I'll see y'all soon. Fins up.
To a category you've never been at before. Are you aware of that? Are you aware of your stats? Is that remotely meaningful to you?
The goal is just to constantly improve. Something we're always working at every position here is just growing. Learning from your past mistakes, growing, and where I'm at in my career. I feel like I should be playing my best football. So, Gase is constantly pushing me. Dal and Bo are constantly pushing me. So, yeah, I think I'm playing solid football. Obviously, still have room for improvement, and want to keep pushing myself to keep playing better.
This team has been so different at home and on the road. Any idea why? We all know it's hard to win on the road, but
yeah, that's the NFL. Obviously, something that we need to improve upon. Obviously, haven't played up to our standards on the road. Had a couple opportunities, but haven't been able to finish it off. So, definitely something we look forward to correcting this week.
What's the neatest thing that's happened in the 72 hours since Sunday in terms of anyone you hear from, a friend in your past or someone you hadn't heard from in years, saying, hey, about that play? Has there been anything like that neat last 3 days?
Nothing too crazy. A lot of people reaching out, a ton of text messages, but nothing too crazy.
And how many times have you watched the play?
Not that many, actually. I watched it. I didn't see it. I saw it after the game on a little short clip of it, and then watched it on Monday, and I don't think I've seen it since. But it's something I'll never forget for sure.
What's the thing that struck you the most?
Is anyone decode Zimmer? If not, we're going to cancel it. Sorry.
What's the thing that struck you the most watching the replay? Is something that jumped out at you?
Probably Ted being down the field and making the block. I think that obviously was crucial for the success of that play, and for something that you don't really expect the lineman to be that far down the field hustling and making a play. So I think that definitely is what jumped out the most.
What can you say about Ted in that play that he wants zero credit for that? He wants to just be remembered as somebody doing his job and making that play unfold.
Yeah, I think it speaks to his competitiveness and just never giving up, just keep fighting and trying to make something happen. I think the guys did a good job of trying to keep the thing alive. You think it's going to be one of those things where it's a pitch, and balls going across the field. But thankfully, KD was able to get around a few guys, had a couple big blocks there. I think Danny kind of chipped a guy, then Ted finished him off, and then Katie was able to hit the crease. So just guys just kept fighting and ended up making a play.
Ryan, when you took that brief nap in the center of the field after the game, was that exhaustion, exhilaration, relief, disbelief? Was it everything?
Yeah, I don't think I can put my finger on one emotion there. I think it all kind of hits you at once. From where you're at before that play, seeing them march down the field, you're watching the clock tick away, and just a sinking feeling you get, and then knowing you have one shot with minimal probability that something's going to happen, and to be successful, and have that whatever 1% or 0.1% play pay off is pretty incredible. It kind of just all hits you at one moment. Everyone was going crazy in the corner, and I was still hurting, so I really didn't want to get caught up and bumped around in that melee over there, and it just kind of collapsed.
Ryan, I interviewed Doug Flutie 22 years after the Hell Flutie play, and I asked him how often does it come up, and he said once a day minimum, even then. Has it sunk in that people are going to be coming to you, whatever years from now, and saying, "Hey, that game in Miami against New England"? Has that sunk in?
Not really. I'm not really worried about that right now. Honestly, just trying to turn the page and get ready for Minnesota. It was a pretty high there, and a lot of hoopla around it. But at the end of the day, we still have a lot of work to do in this season, and we have to be able to turn the page and move forward to Minnesota. So I think actually guys have done a really good job of that, today, and I expect that to keep going throughout this week. And I think after the season's over, then we can take a look back and reminisce.
Is it difficult to turn that page? I mean, it's understandable it's such a buzz in the wake of what happened.
Not for me. I think that's to a man. How every guy handles it. But I still see so much out there for this team and what we can accomplish. So, yeah, it's all focus is on Minnesota and whatever we can do to get ready for that game.
What do you think Drake meant to the offense?
He's been huge. He's a playmaker. We saw it last year. We saw it some of his rookie year. Saw it in preseason in Carolina. You see, any play can go the distance with that guy. So, we feel good about splitting him out. He's got the speed to get on the edge, kind of move him on some fast motion type stuff, and try to use him to misdirect the defense. And he can run the standard downhill running play. So, he's huge. He's basically a utility knife from the backfield that we can kind of put in a lot of different places and use to create matchups that we like.
Ryan, you talked about the emotions of what happened on Sunday. Could that help with the confidence of this team to overcome even the greatest of odds, knowing we're at this point trying to make the playoffs?
Yeah, I think you can use a moment like that to solidify and really come together as a team. I think this team's done that throughout the course of the year, really stuck together through thick and thin, believed in each other, trusted in each other. But you have a moment like that can really be the significant moment that unifies the team completely. And only time will tell. But I kind of felt that when it happened. Felt it in the locker room. You can kind of feel it in the building. But there's still a lot of work to do, so we have to kind of use that as a springboard to finish out the season.
How do you feel about the team's playoff chances? How do you feel?
I honestly don't know what's in the future for this team. I know we have a game on Sunday against the Minnesota Vikings, and we're gonna have to win that game. So all focus is purely on Minnesota and doing whatever we can to come out with a win.
You said he was shocked that you came back, given how the injury looked. How much pride do you put on your toughness coming back in a situation like this?
Yeah, I love competing. I love being on the field. I love being out there for my guys. If there's any possible way that I can be out there with my guys and compete and lead them, then I'm going to do it. So, I mean, it's not about proving a point or anything like that. It's about leading the offense, trying to go win a game. That's ultimately what it comes down to.
Ryan, maybe the 5 games you missed, or at some point recently, what is that mood like when you walk in the training room and see so many of your teammates that have been injured or done for the season? What's that feeling like? Is it disappointment? Are you kind of looking to see if you had these guys, what would this season be? What's it like when you see those guys in the training room?
Yeah, it's tough. You care about everyone that's on this team, and to see the pain. I've been there. I was there last year. I was there for a little bit earlier this season, and it's frustrating. sometimes it's hard to wrap your mind around where you're at, and just kind of tough to believe. So you try to be encouraging, try to support them as much as you can. You can't play the what-if game because it's going to get you nowhere. So you just try to be as supportive as you can, encouraging as you can, and that's about all you can do.
Ryan, the Vikings, as you probably heard, changed their offensive coordinators yesterday. Back in 2015, you went through something somewhat similar when offensive coordinators changed late in the year. What do you remember about that transition? Was it rough as a quarterback, or was it a seamless thing?
Well, anytime you have change like that, it's kind of chaotic. But there's two ways you can respond. You know, I've seen teams kind of rally around the decision, and I've seen teams go the other way. So we don't know what we're going to get, but it doesn't really matter. We have to go out and play our game and execute our calls, and if we're able to do that, then we'll be happy with the result.
Came out this week, I guess, with your sponsorship with Gen X, that you decided to use stem cells in the Grand Cayman. What kind of led to that decision? And is that something that you talked to with other players?
Yeah, I know some other players who have done it. That's something I did actually 2 years ago. 2 years ago? I think 2 years ago. Time gets it's like a time warp in football season. You know, every week feels like a year, but then it goes by so fast. But anyways, yeah, it was a decision I made a while back. You know, I looked into the stem cell thing when I first hurt my knee in 2016, and was looking into all the different choices that were out there. And in the U.S., you're not able to concentrate and grow the cells, and in the Caymans you are. So that was the reason that went with Regenx, and they have the ability to, take it from 3 million to like 300 million cells, and so you have a lot more cells you can use through one aspiration. You can use them on multiple treatments. So that is the reason for that.
Have you asked whether it was an option for the shoulder after you first sustained that injury?
Yeah, we looked into every avenue.
And was it determined that that wouldn't have helped the capsule injury that you had?
It just wasn't the right fit for the right time. Was trying to do everything I could to get back. We did do some other alternative treatments, but didn't make it to the Caymans.
Seems like that's something unique, or is that something you had personal interest in, or is it something you kind of learned about, just through looking around?
Well, I have a little bit of a medical background. I was a pre-med in college, so I've always been intrigued by medicine and what's out there. And then through the whole process of getting injured in 2016, doctors decided it wasn't having surgery, so then I really started digging on, okay, what can I do to try to help myself as much as I can? And stem cells was one of the avenues that I found, and kind of went down that road and found Regenx, and it's been really good for me.
Ryan, what do you make of what Brandon Bolden did in that game Sunday?
Brandon came up huge for us. He's a guy who's played well for us on special teams all year long. He's a veteran guy. Obviously, coming from New England, he's played in big games. He knows how it's done to get to the dance, and he's always out there working. He's a fast guy. Obviously, you saw he's big, he's strong, and it's fun to be able to kind of weave him into the offense a little bit, get him out on the field, and kind of use some of his abilities. He did a good job of getting vertical, and then you saw the speed on the outside, and then down on the goal line, had good vision to cut it back and get around the outside, and then had the strength to get in the end zone. So definitely a guy who's been big for us all year on special teams, but it was really cool to see him get some burn on offense.
Bryce Butler, in the short time that he's been around, what does it seem he does well?
Bryce has been good for us. I think you see on the touchdown catch he has really long arms, great range, good size. So he's a guy who can use his size to his advantage, kind of get defenders on his back and extend his arms and make plays. So definitely brings a little bit of a different aspect compared to guys like Jakeem or Albert or Danny. So it's a good changeup for us, and he's done a good job of learning the offense and kind of fitting in, right where we need him to be.
Your offense has changed, obviously, because of personnel from early in the season. Would you say it's a different philosophy on offense at all then to what you try to do every week now?
Yeah, I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago. I guess maybe after the Bills game, just what the identity was, and yeah, we've kind of had to change and shift and maneuver throughout the year on who's in the game, who's available. You know, one guy goes down and kind of shift a little bit, another guy goes down, shift back the other way. So it's not easy to do, but you have to give credit to Coach Gase and his, evil genius mind of just figuring out ways to keep the advantage and keep moving guys around and use guys to the best of their ability.
You mentioned a little earlier your pre-med background. Sorry, I'm trying to retract on that a little bit, but have you thought about doing medicine after you're done?
Not really. I mean, it's obviously in the off season. I think about what I'm going to do after a little bit, but honestly, I don't put that much thought into it because I feel like I have a lot of football left in front of me and want to do everything I can to win football games. So, I'll cross that road once I get there.
What do you need to see from Ryan going forward? Is this a day after thing or?
He'll be all right.
So you saw the mobility that you need to see from him?
He's good. I mean, yeah. Unless something crazy happens.
Always a possibility.
Yeah, I mean.
Where's X at right now?
Still, I mean, he's running, which is good, but we'll just kind of see how the week goes. I mean, you're always hopeful. At the same time, we just got to make sure, like, the lateral movement is really the key to everything.
Is he in a situation where he could play less than 100%, or he's got to be pretty
I think it's
close?
more about the mobility. I don't think anybody's really going to be 100% at this point, but at the same time, I want him to be able to play the way that he needs to play.
If it was reportedly scoped, was that an accurate report?
I mean, I'm not going to talk about anything like that. I mean, we'll leave that in-house.
Do you need to see him practice this week to even get an idea about game time?
I think it's more about I need to see the mobility that we're looking for more than anything.
So you can see him work out with a trainer and probably go.
Yeah.
Adam, you have a group of running backs that are all playing well right now. How much of a challenge is that for you as the play caller?
Well, I mean, we have a lot of packages to be able to try to get all those guys in. It's just getting called, getting the amount of plays you need. We had a lot of first and second down last week compared to third down, so we can get two guys on the field at the same time. I mean, those guys are all explosive. They all bring something to the table. They all have different things that they can do really well.
Do you recall facing a team that just changed their coordinator that week, either offense or defense, and if it was like widely different than it had been?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably happened a couple times. There's one I remember when we played Baltimore in 2012. But, I mean, it wasn't – there was a little bit of difference, but not a huge swing.
Do you guys try to do some sort of like deep dive on the guy who took over in Minnesota this week?
Yeah, I think we got to be careful with that. We don't want to start chasing a bunch of stuff that doesn't exist. So,
Adam, is it playing on the road mostly a matter of mindset?
No, I mean, some of it has to do with who you're playing. I think we've played some pretty good teams on the road. We've had a couple opportunities to win some games that we didn't finish the game the way we needed to. So we had a couple games where we just got smoked, basically. I don't think it's like personally, I felt good going into a lot of those games when we were healthy, and we either didn't play well just on Sunday, or we just got beat. I mean, the other guys have the right mindset. It's just we just need to play well on Sunday.
So you don't see a team that's been dramatically different, home versus road?
Well, I mean, you're not seeing results, yeah.
Yeah, but the way you
But I don't see it different. I don't see it different in the way they prepare, the way that the focus. Like, I mean, when we're in our meetings, when we're on the road at the hotel, like guys are wired in. When we're at the opposing stadium, the energy and the attitude. Like, I don't see a drop off in that. Just like there's 2 games we didn't finish. That's a big swing.
So in your mindset, it's the opponent that you're playing more so than the team's level of execution?
Well, don't get me wrong, like, we've screwed things up. You know, we didn't help ourselves. But, you know, there's 2 games. I mean, that's what it comes down to. We win those 2 games, it's a different deal.
You have changed, like the day that you go to a couple of those games. Is there anything else that you've fiddled with to kind of see if that helps?
Yeah, I mean, over the last 3 years, we've tried as many different things as we can. You know, we kind of spitball things around the staff and what other guys have done, or if we're doing something that just seems out of the ordinary. You know, even talking to some of the veteran players to see if there's something strange about why we haven't won on the road. You know, so I mean, it's like 2-day trips. Does that do something positive, negative? You know, it seemed like the Houston, at least we were competitive for a little bit. Where the other Thursday games, we just got smoked right out of the blocks.
You guys going Friday? I'm sorry, Hal. You guys going Friday or Saturday? I want to follow up on the point he just made.
Go ahead,
Sorry.
go ahead.
They're teammates, by the way.
Friday, we'll leave Friday.
Thank you.
When we talked to you the other day, you mentioned how you more or less shut off your phone with all the reaction and everything. Since then, I'm curious if you've gotten any memorable reaction from people, whether it's Mike Martz or the Boise people wanting royalties or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, I had a lot of people text me, you know, a few people call me. You know, Mike's he'll always send me something good. So, but I mean, I'm still a ways away from answering a lot of them.
When you say send you something good, you're referring to?
I mean, just
funny?
Yeah. For me, no, I don't have one. I'm not going to give an example.
Because of the way the game ended on Sunday, was it more difficult than normal this week to get you guys to turn the page and look ahead instead of
No, I think there's too little time. They understand what we're playing for. You know, that was, you know, I see guys ready to get to this one, understanding that we better be prepared. We know what we're going against. We know that this is a really good defense. It's a well-coached defense. We know that the players on their offense are very talented, and they've had games where they've been very explosive. They've scored points. They've done a lot of good things in a lot of their games. So, I mean, this is going to be a tough one for us.
One last question on that Boise play. The video of that play from Boise State has one lateral, and most of them are one laterals. Was it supposed to be 2 in Boise, or did you add a second lateral in?
It was Devontae, and then Drake's. Devontae is just supposed to run as long as he can until he can't go anymore, and then Drake's just supposed to stay in like option phase. And then Devontae.
Did you add the second lateral into the play, or was
I don't know. I think we saw when I want to say like maybe Jared Zabransky might have. He was trailing the play, and it was the quarterback. And when we put it in, I think the first time we put it in might have been when Peyton was the quarterback, so we didn't think that was smart on our part, so we used the running back.
Have you learned anything new about Ryan Tannehill's toughness, you know, fighting through ankle, shoulder issue?
I mean, it's the same thing I've seen since I've been here. I mean, I really was shocked that he came back, and I mean, that looked bad, at least from where I was standing. Then when I saw the replay, I really thought it was a lot worse than what it ended up being. But I know when we went in at halftime, you know, I was asking him, I'm like, do we need to go a series and, you know, get you out there and moving around first? And he's like, we're good, let's go. And I was like, all right.
Do you feel comfortable with the play action stuff that you have for him with the ankle? I mean, I know this goes.
Yeah, no, we're good. We'll be all right. I mean, as long as we don't have any kind of weird setback or all of a sudden Friday doesn't feel right. I mean, he's tough, man.
How do you explain the defensive line, the rushing yards that the Patriots had? I think it was 2.6 this game, which compared to some of the other games, it was so much better. What was the...
I think guys did a really good job of staying in their gaps, played discipline. I think we didn't have guys misfitting. You know, I mean, that's just what we have. We have to be more consistent doing that. You know, we didn't have the threat of a running quarterback. That kind of helps when you take zone read and all those type of things out of there.
Adam, Monday you said you think you know what you have in that locker room, referring to this team. What are the characteristics of this team, do you think? What comes to mind with this team?
Tough work ethic is as good as I've been around. You know, they're relentless. Like, there's kind of that never say die attitude in there.
Where's the reflection of you?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's really the guys that we put together. You know, that's kind of who they were when we got them, whether it be through the draft, free agency, you know, even some of the guys that have just were added. You know, a couple of these guys I've been around before, and that always helps when you've been around a guy and you kind of know who they are, what they're about. So I think we got a lot of guys that are really, I mean, the majority of guys are so just team-oriented and focused that whatever they can do to help us win.
And this is, I don't know how to ask this. You're happy with where they are after this is your third year. Your fingerprint is pretty securely on this team. Do you like what you see in there?
I mean, the only thing my only complaint is I wish we could stay a little healthier. You know, it just seems like we've kind of run in and lose some good players, and be interesting to see, you know, what could have Albert done and some of those other guys, you know, Sitton and Kilgore, just kind of how much that changes everything, you know, William. So, but the guys that we got in there right now, they're battling, just trying to do everything week to week to give us a shot.
One guy that comes to mind is Gore. I mean, over 700 yards now, 4.7 yards a carry. Is that even beyond what you kind of hoped for?
No, I mean, I trust Frank when he told me he was ready to have a good year.
What contributed that 35-year-old Frank Gore put up those numbers to?
That's him. He don't know he's 35, or he don't believe it. I mean, he's, you know, we kind of tailored some things to make sure that he was comfortable and he's able to run the plays that he's run his whole career. That's why you see some of the stuff look a little different. And when he gets an opening, like, he hits it and he gets to that second level fast, and it's hard for those guys to bring him down. He's still Frank Gore, man. He's got powerful lower body, runs through arm tackles. You have to, multiple guys have to tackle him to bring him down.
Can you think of another back at his age being able to do what he was able to do?
I mean, not that I've seen, but I've only been around 15 years, so there's probably somebody somewhere.
What stood out to you on Gressu in your 1 year together in Chicago?
Smart, tough. You know, he picked up that offense fast. I mean, he had to come in and play right away. You know, just he knows enough of what we're doing right now to be able to jump in there and get himself ready to go. You know, he'll battle.
Had a couple North battles against Zimmer. What do you remember about coaching against him?
It's tough. It's a very challenging deal as a coach, because he does a very good job of playing sound defense. He gives you a lot of problems with his pressures. He has good players, really good players, so that when you take a coach that's really good X's and O's, and then now you say, all right, here you go, let's have, you know, 6 Pro Bowlers or whatever they got, that makes it even worse. So, I mean, and they're smart.
Alright guys, you've reached the end of my video. This is the end of the interviews. I hope you enjoyed those. I hope you enjoyed my show. Also, as a whole, if you did, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bell if you want to get the alerts. Make sure you hit the like button. And please share your questions, comments, and concerns down in the comment section. I love interacting with you guys. It's for you. This is for you. You know, and also follow me on Twitter at Dillon Tartaro. It's on the end screen. My Twitter handle is on the end screen if you need to know it. And with that, guys, I'm out. I'll see y'all soon. Fins up.